Welcome to Smarter Every Day, unlocking the path to continuous intelligence, a journey into the art of lifelong learning and personal growth. Written and published by Mindful Literary, this audiobook invites you to expand your mind, embrace curiosity, and tap into the power of intelligence that goes far beyond any number or IQ score. Imagine the brilliance of Leonardo da Vinci, the unrelenting curiosity of Benjamin Franklin, or the wisdom of great thinkers and innovators throughout history. What made these figures extraordinary wasn't simply raw talent or high intellect. It was a commitment to learning, a hunger for discovery, and a mindset that saw intelligence as a journey, not a destination. They saw intelligence as something dynamic and evolving, not confined to any set measure. In this book, we explore what it means to be smart in ways that resonate with our everyday lives. Intelligence isn't just a trait, it's a practice, something we can nurture and grow with each passing day. Through stories, insights, and engaging moments from history and modern life, we'll uncover habits and mindsets that make intelligence accessible and endlessly rewarding. Each section of this audiobook brings you stories, practical techniques, and thought-provoking ideas that open up new ways of thinking and learning. Whether it's building daily habits that boost brain power, mastering focus in a world of distractions, or using creativity to unlock your potential, Smarter Every Day is a guide to becoming more engaged, curious, and capable in every aspect of life. So get ready to join the ranks of lifelong learners. Take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin this exciting journey of continuous intelligence. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being smarter today than you were yesterday. Introduction: The Journey to Lifelong Intelligence. Imagine Leonardo da Vinci, a man who wore many hats: painter, scientist, inventor, anatomist, and more. His insatiable curiosity drove him to question everything around him, to explore without limits, and to learn without fear. Da Vinci didn't confine himself to one field or one way of thinking. He believed that every question led to more knowledge, and every discovery opened a door to something even greater. This boundless curiosity and commitment to learning are what set him apart, making him a symbol of intelligence that reaches beyond mere talent or training. Intelligence, as we'll explore in this book, is far more than a number on an IQ test or a diploma hanging on a wall. True intelligence is a living, evolving force. It's the ability to adapt, to see the world through fresh eyes, and to seek answers with an open mind. It's the willingness to ask, to try, to fail, and to keep going regardless of the obstacles. Intelligence is not about arriving at a fixed destination. It's about the journey of discovery itself. In Smarter Every Day, unlocking the path to continuous intelligence, we'll explore intelligence from every angle. We'll uncover habits that spark curiosity, stories that inspire resilience, and techniques that strengthen our minds. Through this journey, you'll discover how daily practices like focused learning, creativity, and mindful observation can elevate your thinking, bringing you closer to the dynamic, evolving intelligence that lives within us all. Each section of this book brings something unique. We'll start by laying a foundation with the different forms of intelligence, showing that intelligence is like a vast landscape. There's always more to explore. Then, we'll look at powerful daily habits that strengthen your mind and energize your life. Next, we'll dive into the art of focus, memory, and creativity, all essential tools for a sharper mind. We'll explore lifelong learning practices that build on themselves, allowing intelligence to deepen over time. Finally, we'll discuss how intelligence comes alive in our choices, our relationships, and the knowledge we share with the world. By the end of this journey, you'll see intelligence in a new way, as something within reach, something that grows every day, and something that's uniquely yours. So let's embark on this path to becoming smarter every day, discovering the limitless potential of intelligence that's both within us and all around us. Chapter 1: Understanding Intelligence Through Real-Life Icons. When we think of intelligence, our minds might jump to a specific image. Perhaps someone with a brilliant mind, a scientist in a lab, or a genius deciphering equations. But intelligence is far more expansive, woven into creativity, empathy, resilience, and more. To understand intelligence, we can look at the lives of those who embody its many forms, figures like Pablo Picasso, Maya Angelou, and Albert Einstein. Let's start with Picasso, a master of creative intelligence. He saw the world through a lens that defied convention. When others painted to please or to follow tradition, Picasso dared to deconstruct reality itself, creating forms that had never been seen before. His art wasn't simply skillful, it was revolutionary. He challenged viewers to see beyond the surface, to question norms, and to think differently. Picasso's creative intelligence wasn't a gift he was born with. It was something he developed by pushing boundaries, embracing failures, and seeing possibilities where others saw none. Then we have Maya Angelou, a poet and storyteller whose emotional intelligence allowed her to connect deeply with people around the world. Angelou's words resonated because she understood pain, resilience, and the complexity of human emotions. Through her writing, she navigated the intricacies of empathy, capturing universal feelings of love, struggle, and hope. Angelou's intelligence was rooted not in facts or figures, but in an understanding of human nature, a profound grasp of what it means to be both vulnerable and strong. Albert Einstein, often regarded as the epitome of intellectual genius, reminds us that intelligence is as much about curiosity as it is about knowledge. Einstein famously said, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious." This curiosity led him to question the foundations of physics and pursue ideas that others dismissed as impossible. Einstein's intelligence lay not just in his theories, but in his relentless pursuit of understanding, his willingness to question accepted truths, and his desire to learn from the universe itself. These icons reveal that intelligence isn't a single trait, but a tapestry of qualities. It is not fixed or static. It grows with every question asked, every challenge faced, and every boundary pushed. Intelligence is something we cultivate through our choices, actions, and interactions with the world around us. Each form of intelligence, whether creative, emotional, analytical, or interpersonal, offers us a unique way to understand and engage with life. In this chapter, as we explore the foundations of intelligence, we'll see that intelligence is something we can nurture and expand. It's in the way we approach problems, in our ability to empathize with others, and in our courage to see the world differently. Intelligence is not a destination but a journey, one that each of us can embark on with an open mind and a willing heart. Through the stories of these icons and many more, we'll discover that intelligence, in all its forms, is within our reach. Chapter 2: The Power of a Growth Mindset in Everyday Life. Imagine the young Thomas Edison, facing failure after failure as he worked to create the incandescent light bulb. By his own admission, he tried over 1,000 different materials for the filament, each one seeming to end in frustration. Yet, instead of seeing these experiments as failures, Edison famously remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's journey was an extraordinary testament to the power of a growth mindset, a belief that intelligence and abilities can develop through dedication and hard work. His perseverance wasn't just grit. It was an outlook that each obstacle was simply a step forward, a chance to learn, and a pathway to eventual success. In everyday life, a growth mindset can transform our perspective on challenges. Whether it's learning a new skill, facing setbacks in work, or even managing difficult relationships, approaching life with a growth-oriented perspective helps us see obstacles as opportunities to grow. This mindset is what makes everyday resilience possible. A setback, instead of being a dead end, becomes a lesson. A mistake, rather than a source of embarrassment, becomes a stepping stone. Consider J.K. Rowling's journey as another powerful example. Before she became the globally recognized author of the Harry Potter series, Rowling faced numerous rejections. She was a single mother, living on government assistance, and her manuscript was rejected by 12 publishers before it was finally accepted. Her story is one of remarkable resilience, fueled by the belief that success wasn't about being perfect on the first try. It was about persistence, learning, and improvement. Rowling's story is a powerful reminder that a growth mindset allows us to embrace failure as a natural part of the journey, one that ultimately leads to success if we keep going. Adopting a growth mindset often requires an internal shift. It begins with curiosity, the desire to understand, to explore, and to improve. People with a growth mindset see curiosity as their compass. They aren't afraid to ask questions, to challenge assumptions, or to dig deeper into what interests them. Curiosity fuels their drive to learn and to try new things because they see each experience as a valuable part of their journey. Open-mindedness is also crucial to a growth mindset. When we're open to new ideas, different viewpoints, and unfamiliar experiences, we're more likely to see possibilities instead of limitations. Open-mindedness allows us to learn from others, to adapt to change, and to approach problems with flexibility rather than rigidity. In the face of challenges, An open mind doesn't close off solutions but invites them. Then there's perseverance, the willingness to keep going even when the path is hard. Perseverance is more than just sticking it out. It's about finding purpose in the process. People with a growth mindset understand that effort is an essential part of success. They see value in hard work because they know that every step, even the difficult ones, contributes to their growth. They're willing to put in the time, to face discomfort, and to continue pushing forward, knowing that these experiences are essential to their development. When we cultivate a growth mindset in our everyday lives, we unlock the potential to become more than we were yesterday. We stop fearing failure and start seeing it as feedback. We embrace learning, we ask questions, and we take risks, knowing that intelligence and skills are not fixed traits but qualities we can build over time. By looking at the lives of people like Edison and Rowling, we can see that a growth mindset is not reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone willing to embrace curiosity, open-mindedness, and perseverance. In the following chapters, we'll build on this foundation, exploring practical habits and insights that make it possible to live with this mindset every day, guiding us toward personal growth, resilience, and a smarter, more fulfilled life. Chapter 3: Brain-boosting practices from ancient wisdom to modern science. Across cultures and centuries, people have searched for ways to enhance the mind. The ancient Greeks, for example, believed that certain foods and practices could elevate their thinking, and many philosophers famously linked diet and health to intellectual clarity. Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, recommended foods like fish, honey, and olive oil, believing they could nourish both body and mind. For him, eating was not merely a means of survival but a pathway to enlightenment, helping the mind stay sharp, focused, and receptive to new ideas. Today, we see a fascinating connection between these ancient beliefs and modern science. High achievers, from tech innovators to athletes, understand the role of health in fueling their intellectual success. Steve Jobs was known for his strict dietary habits, choosing foods he believed would give him more energy and mental clarity. Olympic athletes follow diets designed not only to enhance physical performance, but to optimize mental focus and resilience under pressure. By valuing nutrition as part of their mental toolkit, these modern high achievers echo the wisdom of ancient times, reinforcing the link between what we consume and how well we think. So, what are these brain-boosting foods, and how can we integrate them into our daily lives? The answer lies in making small adjustments that lead to long-term benefits. For instance, many people start their day with coffee, which, in moderation, can boost alertness and improve focus. But what if we added a handful of walnuts to that morning routine? Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which studies show are essential for brain health and can improve memory and cognitive function. This simple addition could make a noticeable difference in how we approach the day, improving not just our energy, but our capacity to think clearly. Then there's the ancient practice of fasting, which has recently gained attention in the form of intermittent fasting. Ancient thinkers like Pythagoras and Plato were known to fast, believing it heightened their mental faculties. Modern science now tells us that intermittent fasting can boost brain health by promoting neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, and stimulating the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that supports learning and memory. This connection between fasting and cognitive health reminds us that even practices from centuries ago can have scientific merit today. Another fascinating brain-boosting habit is incorporating more antioxidants into the diet. Blueberries, for example, have been called brain berries for their high levels of antioxidants, which help combat oxidative stress, a factor linked to aging and cognitive decline. Many people who regularly eat blueberries report improved focus and memory, even in small daily servings. This tiny change, a handful of blueberries added to breakfast, brings us closer to the ancient Greeks' belief in food as medicine, and provides a delicious way to enhance mental clarity. Physical activity also plays a significant role in brain health, and ancient wisdom shows that this connection has been understood for centuries. Ancient martial arts like Tai Chi, which combine movement with mindfulness, were designed not just for strength but to cultivate mental focus and clarity. In the modern world, high achievers like Richard Branson and Elon Musk incorporate daily exercise into their routines, acknowledging that physical activity helps them stay mentally sharp, creative, and resilient. Science supports this, showing that exercise increases blood flow to the brain and releases endorphins, improving both mood and cognitive function. Sleep is another critical factor that both ancient and modern thinkers agree on. Many ancient cultures had practices for winding down, valuing rest as essential to a healthy mind. The concept of a second sleep, common in pre-industrial Europe, involved people waking up in the middle of the night for a brief period of reflection, reading, or meditation before going back to sleep for the remainder of the night. While our sleep patterns have changed, the need for quality sleep has not. Modern studies reveal that during sleep, the brain clears out toxins, consolidates memories, and prepares itself for new learning. People like Jeff Bezos and Ariana Huffington prioritize sleep, noting that their decision-making and productivity improve when they're well-rested. In this chapter, we see that intelligence is supported by choices we make every day: what we eat, how we rest, how we move. Just as the Greeks believed that the right foods and practices could lead to sharper minds, today's high achievers demonstrate that small, intentional habits make a big difference in long-term cognitive health. And the best part, these adjustments are within reach for anyone willing to make them. So, as you go about your day, consider incorporating these brain-boosting habits into your routine. A handful of walnuts here, a few minutes of exercise there, an extra hour of sleep. All of these practices build up over time, strengthening the foundation of a smarter, more focused mind. Intelligence, as both ancient and modern wisdom shows us, is a journey of choices. Each small step we take adds up, preparing us to think more clearly, act more wisely, and live more fully. Chapter 4: Creating a Life of Learning and Curiosity. Imagine Leonardo da Vinci moving through his day with a notebook always close at hand, ready to sketch a plant, record an observation about human anatomy, or jot down a philosophical question. Da Vinci wasn't satisfied with knowing only what was necessary. He sought to understand everything around him, from the way water flowed to the mechanics of flight. To him, learning wasn't confined to a particular field. It was a lifestyle, a constant quest to uncover the hidden layers of the world. This insatiable curiosity, this lifelong learning, is what made him not just a great artist but a polymath, a mind so broad that it changed the way we see the world. Da Vinci's approach reminds us that learning, like physical exercise, strengthens over time. The brain, much like a muscle, grows through consistent and dedicated use. When we approach each day as an opportunity to discover, to question, and to learn, we create neural pathways that enhance our capacity to think, imagine, and innovate. Just as lifting weights builds physical strength, challenging our minds every day builds mental resilience and adaptability. But how can we adopt this mindset of continuous curiosity? It starts with small, everyday habits, the habits of the curious, as we might call them. These habits, simple as they may seem, open the door to new ideas, insights, and perspectives that enrich our lives. One habit of the curious is the practice of asking questions, even about the seemingly mundane. Richard Feynman, the celebrated physicist, was known for his relentless questioning. He famously said, "I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned." Feynman's curiosity led him to explore complex ideas with the mind of a beginner, approaching problems as puzzles to be solved rather than facts to be memorized. His life reminds us that curiosity isn't just about asking questions. It's about being open to answers we might not expect. Another habit of the curious is seeking out new experiences. Marie Curie, the pioneering scientist who discovered radium and polonium, spent long hours in her lab, but she also ventured into areas previously unexplored by women in science. Her willingness to face unknowns and push boundaries showed a deep-seated desire to learn through experience. Curie's life illustrates that stepping out of our comfort zones, whether through travel, hobbies, or new challenges, broadens our understanding of the world and ourselves. Then there's the practice of journaling, a habit Da Vinci himself embodied. Journaling isn't just about recording events. It's a tool for reflection, a way to capture fleeting thoughts and spark new ones. Many curious minds, from writers to scientists, keep journals to track their ideas, observations, and questions. By recording our thoughts, we engage in a dialogue with ourselves, allowing us to notice patterns, explore questions, and develop insights. Journaling, like a conversation with one's own mind, encourages curiosity to flourish. Reading widely is another essential habit of lifelong learners. One fascinating example is Benjamin Franklin, who read everything he could get his hands on, from philosophy to politics to practical guides. Franklin didn't just read passively. He applied what he learned, experimenting and refining his ideas. For Franklin, books were windows to worlds beyond his own, and his voracious reading expanded his knowledge across diverse fields, making him a pioneer, an inventor, and a statesman. Reading widely allows us to connect dots between different ideas and disciplines, sparking creativity and innovation. Curiosity also thrives on reflection, the habit of revisiting and contemplating what we've learned. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Reflection turns experiences into lessons, enabling us to extract meaning from our daily encounters. Reflecting on what we learn each day helps us integrate knowledge more deeply, making it a part of who we are. When we take time to reflect, we give ourselves space to understand not just what we learned, but why it matters. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to lose touch with our curiosity. We may feel that we don't have time to question, to explore, or to pursue knowledge for its own sake. But the truth is, curiosity doesn't require grand gestures. It thrives in small moments, in daily practices that keep our minds active and our spirits engaged. To create a life of learning and curiosity, we must nurture these habits and make them our own. Ask questions, seek new experiences, keep a journal, read widely, and take time to reflect. Through these habits, we honor the legacy of thinkers like Da Vinci, Feynman, Curie, and Franklin. People who remind us that curiosity is the seed from which all growth springs. As you cultivate these habits, remember that learning is not a destination. It's a journey that unfolds each day, with each question asked, each book opened, and each moment of reflection. Curiosity invites us to see the world as it truly is, an endless landscape of discovery, waiting for those willing to explore it. Chapter 5. Solving Problems Like the Great Minds. Problem solving has driven some of the world's most incredible breakthroughs, from Albert Einstein's theory of relativity to Marie Curie's groundbreaking research on radioactivity. These problem solvers didn't just rely on intellect. They approached challenges with unique perspectives, creative thinking, and an ability to see beyond the obvious. In this chapter, we'll explore the techniques and mindsets that fueled their success, and how we can apply these methods in our own lives to become more effective, innovative problem solvers. Consider Einstein, who often said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." For Einstein, problem solving didn't start with formulas or facts, but with imagination. When faced with a complex challenge, he would visualize the problem, playing out scenarios in his mind. This technique allowed him to approach questions from different angles, leading to insights that others missed. His famous thought experiment, imagining himself riding a beam of light, was crucial in developing the theory of relativity. Einstein's approach teaches us that imagination is a powerful tool, one that allows us to explore ideas and make connections that might otherwise remain hidden. Marie Curie's story, on the other hand, showcases a different kind of problem-solving strength: persistence. As she worked to isolate radium, Curie faced setbacks that would have deterred most people. The process was laborious, requiring thousands of hours of painstaking work. Yet, Curie's unyielding focus allowed her to push through these challenges. She believed deeply in her work and remained undeterred, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Curie's persistence reminds us that sometimes, solving a problem requires patience, endurance, and the willingness to keep moving forward, even when progress feels painfully slow. Another historical example comes from Thomas Edison, who approached problem-solving with a method he called systematic creativity. When developing the light bulb, Edison tried thousands of different materials for the filament before finding one that worked. Instead of seeing these attempts as failures, he saw each one as a necessary step in the process of discovery. Edison's strategy involved combining experimentation with a willingness to learn from each result, whether it brought him closer to success or not. His relentless experimentation shows that problem-solving is often less about getting it right the first time and more about being open to trial, error, and continuous refinement. In addition to these icons, let's consider the unique approach of Steve Jobs, who focused on simplicity and user experience in his problem-solving. When creating products at Apple, Jobs wasn't just interested in functionality. He wanted to solve the problem of complexity. His mantra was, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." This meant stripping away the unnecessary and making technology accessible to everyone. Jobs' approach highlights the importance of clarity and empathy in problem-solving, understanding the end user's experience and addressing challenges in ways that bring ease and value to others. Drawing from these icons, here are some problem-solving strategies that anyone can apply. Number 1. Use thought experiments inspired by Einstein. Thought experiments allow you to imagine scenarios without the constraints of reality, helping you explore possibilities beyond the obvious. When faced with a problem, close your eyes and imagine different ways it could play out. This mental exercise can reveal new solutions, giving you the freedom to think creatively and unconventionally. Number 2. Cultivate persistence, inspired by Curie. Persistence is often the unsung hero of problem solving. When solutions don't come easily, remember Marie Curie's dedication. Break down the problem into smaller steps and celebrate small victories along the way. Persistence doesn't mean bulldozing through. It's about finding ways to keep going, adjusting as needed, and not giving up on the goal. Number 3. Experiment freely, inspired by Edison. Edison's systematic creativity shows us the value of trial and error. When you're stuck, try as many solutions as you can think of, even if they seem unconventional. Keep track of what works and what doesn't. Remember that each attempt brings you closer to the answer, even if it feels like you're taking a detour. Number 4. Seek simplicity, inspired by Jobs. Complexity can be a barrier to finding solutions. Sometimes, simplifying the problem or breaking it down into its core components can reveal a path forward. Ask yourself, what's the simplest way to achieve the desired outcome? This approach not only brings clarity, but also makes it easier to communicate your solution to others. Number 5. Ask what if. Often used by scientists and creatives alike, this question opens the door to new perspectives. What if this were different? Or what if we approached this from the opposite angle? Can generate ideas that seem radical but offer breakthrough solutions. The what if approach frees you from conventional constraints, allowing you to explore a world of possibilities. Number 6. Reflect on failures as lessons. Like Edison and Curie, the great problem solvers viewed setbacks as opportunities to learn. Rather than seeing failure as a stop sign, they took it as a guidepost, revealing what didn't work and adjusting accordingly. After each attempt, ask yourself what you learned and how you can apply that lesson to the next round. Problem solving is as much about mindset as it is about technique. By embracing creativity, persistence, experimentation, simplicity, and curiosity, we give ourselves the tools to think like the world's greatest problem solvers. Through real-world examples and personal application, these techniques allow us to transform challenges into opportunities for growth, innovation, and achievement. As you face your own challenges, remember that the greatest minds didn't solve problems because they had all the answers. They solved them because they were willing to explore, to fail, and to try again with renewed vision. Each of us has this potential within, waiting to be unlocked by the choices we make and the approaches we take. So go forward with confidence, knowing that with the right mindset and a bit of creative strategy, every problem can become a stepping stone on the journey of intelligence and discovery. Chapter 6. The Art of Focus in a Distracted World. Picture a Shaolin monk, sitting in serene stillness, his mind as calm as a quiet lake, undisturbed by ripples. For hours on end, he meditates, practices martial arts with unwavering focus, and embodies an intensity that few of us experience. For Shaolin monks, focus isn't just a skill, it's a way of life, cultivated through years of disciplined practice. This level of concentration allows them to channel incredible strength and precision, both physically and mentally. Their ability to silence the mind in the face of challenges and distractions is the result of an ancient practice of mindfulness, a dedication to maintaining clarity in a noisy world. In today's world, we face a different kind of challenge. Our distractions aren't the external battles that monks or athletes face, but the constant, silent pull of notifications, emails, and a multitude of digital demands vying for our attention. We might not be training to break bricks with our hands or meditating in remote temples, but we do face a daily test of focus. So how do we reclaim our attention in a world designed to fragment it? One way is by adopting the timeless techniques used by those who have mastered focus. Take elite athletes, for instance, individuals who train their minds as intensely as they train their bodies. Olympic athletes like Simone Biles or Michael Phelps use mental visualization techniques to sharpen their focus. Before a routine or race, they close their eyes, imagine each movement, each turn, and prepare their minds to stay aligned with their goals. This visualization practice creates a mental rehearsal, helping them focus under pressure and ignore the roar of crowds, media attention, and other distractions. To reclaim focus in our own lives, we can start with small adjustments that echo these techniques. One method inspired by both monks and athletes is the practice of single tasking. In a world that values multitasking, choosing to focus on just one thing at a time is both a challenge and a discipline. Single tasking is the mental equivalent of lifting a weight and holding it steady. When we single task, we train our minds to resist the temptation of distraction, strengthening our ability to stay present and productive. Another tool to enhance focus is the Pomodoro technique, a method that breaks work into 25-minute intervals, followed by a 5-minute break. This technique, much like the training intervals used by athletes, builds endurance by giving the mind brief moments of rest. The focused intervals become sprints of productivity, while the breaks act as a mental reset, helping us return to our task with renewed clarity. But focus isn't only about managing time, it's also about managing space. Ancient practices prioritize creating environments that support clarity, often by minimizing distractions. Monks, for instance, live in sparsely decorated spaces, free from clutter, allowing them to concentrate deeply. In our own lives, we can apply this by decluttering our workspaces and creating dedicated zones for focused activities. Removing visual distractions and setting aside specific areas for work or study signals to our minds that this space is for concentration, helping us slip into focus more naturally. Breathing exercises are another powerful tool to sharpen focus, used by everyone from monks to high-performing athletes. Shaolin monks often begin their training with breathing exercises, anchoring their attention to the present moment. These exercises slow down the mind, centering it in the here and now. One simple technique is box breathing, where you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold again. This rhythmic breathing calms the mind, reduces stress, and strengthens our ability to focus by creating a mental pause in a busy world. In addition to these practical steps, it's essential to examine how we engage with technology. Our phones, computers, and social media apps are designed to capture our attention, often without us realizing it. Setting boundaries with technology, whether by turning off notifications, using do not disturb modes, or designating tech-free times, creates space for focus. Many successful people, from authors to CEOs, practice digital minimalism, a mindset that prioritizes intentional use of technology. By controlling how and when we interact with our devices, we regain the power to direct our attention where it matters most. Ultimately, cultivating focus is about reclaiming our mental energy. It's about choosing to be present and engaged in the task at hand, whether that's working on a project, having a conversation, or enjoying a quiet moment. Focus isn't a rigid all-or-nothing state. It's a habit we build over time, just like any other skill. In a world full of distractions, the ability to focus becomes a rare and valuable skill. Through ancient techniques of single tasking, creating supportive environments, practicing breathing exercises, and setting boundaries with technology, we can develop a focus that allows us to thrive. It won't be easy and we'll be tempted to wander, but with each step, we come closer to mastering the art of focus. So, as you go about your day, try these techniques. Start small. Practice single tasking, create spaces for concentration, take intentional breaks, and set boundaries with technology. Through these simple yet powerful steps, we can cultivate a deep and resilient focus, a modern form of mental discipline that keeps us centered, productive, and at peace amidst the noise. Chapter 7. How Memory Works, Stories from the Memory Masters. Imagine ancient Rome, where the renowned orator Cicero stands before a crowded forum, delivering speeches that can stretch for hours. He has no notes, no prompts, yet he recalls every point with precision and detail. Cicero was known for his exceptional memory, a skill essential to his career as a statesman and philosopher. But his memory wasn't an inborn gift. It was a skill he trained, using techniques that we now know as visualization and association. Cicero's story shows us that memory isn't just about retention. It's about creating vivid mental images and linking information in ways that make it unforgettable. Today, memory athletes, individuals who train to master recall techniques, use similar methods to achieve seemingly superhuman feats. One famous example is Joshua Foer, a journalist who trained himself to win the U.S. Memory Championship using a technique called the Memory Palace. This technique, also used by Cicero, involves associating information with specific locations in a familiar place, like your home. Foer's story shows us that memory is like a muscle. With practice and the right techniques, it can be strengthened to perform extraordinary feats. One of the most effective memory techniques is visualization. Let's say you're trying to remember a shopping list: milk, bread, apples, and eggs. If you visualize each item vividly, you're much more likely to recall it later. Imagine the milk as a fountain flowing from your kitchen sink, the bread as a loaf the size of your couch, the apples as enormous and bright red, sitting on the counter, and the eggs as glowing with a soft light. This method works because our brains are wired to remember images better than abstract information. The more detailed and unusual the image, the stronger its impact on our memory. Another powerful technique is association, which involves linking new information with something familiar. Historical memory champions often use this approach to recall large amounts of information by connecting each new piece of information to something they already knew. For instance, if you want to remember the name Baker, you might imagine a baker wearing a chef's hat, holding a tray of fresh bread. By linking the name to a visual image, you're creating a pathway in your mind that makes the information easier to retrieve later. For more complex information, the memory palace technique can be incredibly useful. To create a memory palace, you visualize a familiar place, like your home, and mentally place items you want to remember in specific locations. Imagine walking through your house. On the entry table sits a loaf of bread, in the living room is a carton of milk, and on the dining table, you see a pile of apples. When you need to recall your list, you walk through your memory palace, retrieving each item as you go. This method works because our minds naturally organize and recall information spatially, making the memory palace a powerful tool for remembering long lists or complex information. Applying these techniques in real life can feel transformative. Take, for example, a student preparing for a big exam. By visualizing key concepts as vivid images, or creating a memory palace with chapters arranged in different rooms, the student can recall information with greater accuracy. Or consider someone at work, needing to remember the names of new clients. By associating each person's name with an image, or linking them to a specific characteristic, they can recall names effortlessly, making a memorable impression. Personally, I once struggled to remember a long list of client names and preferences at work. Using the association technique, I began linking each person's name with something specific about them, their hobbies, the way they dressed, or even their favorite coffee. It didn't take long to realize that these memory tricks not only helped me recall details, but also built stronger connections with clients. What started as a technique became a way to make people feel seen and remembered. Memory is an incredible tool, one that we can improve and harness with a little practice and creativity. Techniques like visualization, association, and the memory palace have stood the test of time because they work. They make memory feel like an adventure, turning everyday information into a story, a place, a scene that's easy to revisit and recall. So, the next time you need to remember something, try turning it into an image, linking it to something familiar, or placing it in your mental palace. With these techniques, memory becomes not just a skill, but an art, one that allows us to carry knowledge, experiences, and connections with us in a way that's vivid, meaningful, and unforgettable. Chapter 8: Creative Thinking Through Storytelling. When Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, it wasn't just a new gadget. It was a product that changed the way we communicate, connect, and live. Jobs had a vision that went beyond mere functionality. He wanted to create something intuitive, something that people could feel attached to. His approach combined art and technology, focusing on simplicity, elegance, and user experience. Jobs saw beyond the conventional boundaries of tech design, transforming a simple idea into an extraordinary innovation. Similarly, Frida Kahlo painted not just what she saw, but what she felt. Her vibrant colors and surrealist themes brought deeply personal stories to life, capturing pain, passion, and resilience on canvas. Kahlo's creative process was about using her unique vision to communicate ideas and emotions that words alone couldn't express. She didn't limit herself to traditional techniques or perspectives. Instead, she used her art as a medium for self-discovery and connection with others. Jobs and Kahlo exemplify the power of creative thinking, a skill that enhances intelligence by encouraging us to see beyond the obvious. Creative thinking is about finding new perspectives, exploring different possibilities, and connecting ideas in unexpected ways. It allows us to approach problems and opportunities with an open mind, making discoveries that might otherwise remain hidden. One way to foster creative thinking is through storytelling. Storytelling isn't just for writers or artists. It's a way for all of us to think differently. When we turn ideas into stories, we bring them to life, giving them depth, color, and dimension. For example, if you're trying to brainstorm a new business idea, Imagine it as a character on a journey. What obstacles would it face? Who are its allies? What goal is it trying to achieve? By transforming abstract ideas into story elements, we can explore them from fresh angles, revealing connections and solutions we might have missed. Another exercise in creative thinking is what if scenarios. Think about a problem you're facing and ask yourself, what if this were different? What if I approached it from the opposite angle? Or what if this weren't a problem but an opportunity? These questions free us from conventional constraints, allowing us to explore possibilities without judgment. For example, when Elon Musk set out to revolutionize space travel, he asked questions that seemed impossible at the time. What if rockets could be reusable? By challenging existing norms, Musk and his team made strides that transformed the entire space industry. To make creative thinking a regular part of life, it's helpful to practice exercises that feel more like engaging challenges than tasks. One effective exercise is called mind mapping. Start with a central idea in the middle of a page, and from there, branch out into related ideas, words, or images. Let your mind wander freely, without filtering or judging. This technique mirrors the brain's natural way of making connections, allowing you to visualize your thoughts and explore ideas in a nonlinear, expansive way. Another way to cultivate creativity is by stepping into different perspectives. This practice is often called empathy mapping. If you're trying to design a product, write a story, or solve a conflict, imagine yourself in the shoes of different people involved. How would a child see this? What would an artist notice that a scientist might overlook? By viewing situations through varied lenses, we gain insights that broaden our understanding and spark innovative solutions. The act of combining unrelated ideas, known as conceptual blending, is also a powerful tool for creative thinking. The more we expose ourselves to diverse fields, ideas, and experiences, the richer our creative well becomes. This concept of cross-pollination is what brought us creations like the iPhone and Kahlo's powerful self-portraits. When we allow ideas from different worlds to collide, new possibilities emerge. A musician might find inspiration in the rhythm of nature, a scientist in a piece of art, or an entrepreneur in an ancient philosophy. Creative thinking pushes the boundaries of intelligence, helping us see beyond the conventional. It allows us to approach life as a landscape of possibilities, where problems become puzzles and questions become invitations to explore. As we cultivate creative thinking, we develop the courage to take risks, the curiosity to ask questions, and the resilience to persist in the face of doubt. Each story of innovation, each experiment with an unconventional idea, reminds us that creativity isn't just about the result. It's about the journey of discovery itself. So, try some of these exercises, practice storytelling with your own ideas, and make creative thinking a daily habit. Whether you're solving a problem at work, planning a project, or simply daydreaming, approach each thought as an opportunity to think differently. Embrace the what-if questions, blend ideas from diverse fields, and let your mind wander freely. In the end, creative thinking is what makes us innovators, dreamers, and thinkers who see the world with fresh eyes. It's a way to break free from limitations and find our own unique path, reminding us that the most remarkable achievements are born not from following the rules, but from having the courage to think beyond them. Chapter 9. Setting Meaningful Learning Goals Through Real-Life Examples. In 1915, Mahatma Gandhi set an ambitious goal: to achieve independence for India through nonviolent resistance. At the time, such a vision seemed impossible. The country was under British rule, and many believed that force was the only way to gain freedom. But Gandhi's vision was clear, and his commitment was unshakable. Rather than looking at the daunting end goal, Gandhi focused on small, consistent actions that would eventually lead to his dream. Each protest, each speech, and each letter was a step toward a vision that would ultimately change history. Gandhi's journey teaches us that meaningful goals provide direction, even if the path is long and filled with challenges. In our own lives, setting meaningful goals can transform our journey of learning and growth. Goals give us something to aim for, a reason to stay curious and keep pushing our boundaries. Without goals, our learning can feel scattered, unfocused. But with the right goals, each day becomes a building block in the foundation of something bigger. Goals help us stay committed, giving us a sense of purpose and motivation. Consider Elon Musk, who set a goal to revolutionize space travel by making rockets reusable. Like Gandhi's vision, Musk's goal seemed out of reach, even impossible. But he didn't let that deter him. Instead, he broke down his dream into achievable steps. Each failed launch was a learning opportunity, each setback a stepping stone toward his ultimate vision. Musk's story reminds us that setting big goals doesn't mean achieving them all at once. It's about making small, consistent progress, learning as we go, and allowing each step to bring us closer to our vision. Setting goals for lifelong learning is similar. We may have a broad goal, like mastering a new language, understanding a field of study, or developing a new skill. But without breaking it down into smaller, manageable steps, we can easily become overwhelmed. By creating specific, achievable milestones, like practicing vocabulary daily, reading a chapter each week, or dedicating 20 minutes to skill building each day, we make progress tangible and rewarding. Each small accomplishment reinforces our commitment, keeping us engaged and motivated over the long haul. One approach to setting learning goals is to use the SMART framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For instance, rather than setting a vague goal like becoming fluent in Spanish, a SMART goal might be: hold a 5-minute conversation in Spanish within 3 months. This goal is specific, a conversation, measurable, 5 minutes, achievable with regular practice, relevant to learning Spanish, and time-bound within 3 months. By setting a clear target, you're more likely to stay focused, measure your progress, and celebrate your achievements along the way. Another powerful approach is to focus on the journey rather than the outcome. Setting goals that center around consistent learning, rather than just results, can be more fulfilling. For example, a writer might set a goal to write 500 words every day rather than aiming to complete a book by a specific date. This shift from outcome to process makes the goal sustainable and allows for continual growth, without the pressure of reaching a fixed endpoint. It's about building a learning habit, a daily commitment to growth that becomes part of who you are. A personal example of setting meaningful learning goals can be as simple as committing to read 1 book a month on a topic you're curious about. A friend of mine set this goal a few years ago with the aim of understanding more about psychology. At first, it seemed like a minor commitment, but over time, this goal transformed into a passion. One book led to another, and eventually, my friend enrolled in online courses and attended workshops, building a wealth of knowledge in a field that started as a casual interest. This experience showed how small, consistent steps can lead to profound growth and even new career paths. As we set our own learning goals, it's helpful to remember that the journey will not always be smooth. There will be days when progress feels slow, when we question our ability to keep going. But each step, however small, builds momentum. Just like Gandhi's marches or Musk's rocket launches, each action is a piece of the bigger picture. By focusing on consistent effort, we keep moving forward, finding motivation in each small accomplishment. Finally, remember that meaningful goals are those that align with our values and passions. Learning for the sake of it is admirable, but when our goals resonate with who we are and who we want to become, they become powerful drivers of growth. Whether your goal is to master a skill, understand a new field, or build a habit, let it be something that excites you. Let it be a reflection of your curiosity, your desire to improve, and your willingness to explore the world with an open mind. So, take some time to think about your own learning goals. Start with a vision that feels exciting, break it down into achievable steps, and commit to showing up every day, even if only for a few minutes. By setting meaningful learning goals, we give ourselves direction on the journey of intelligence, transforming our curiosity into a lifelong pursuit of growth and discovery. Chapter 10: Building a Learning Environment That Inspires. Albert Einstein once said, "A cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind." For Einstein, his study was more than just a room. It was a sanctuary for deep thought and creativity. His workspace was often filled with notes, books, and sketches, yet everything had its purpose. Einstein believed that the right environment could fuel his intellect and imagination, helping him tackle complex ideas. His study was a place where he could step away from the outside world, allowing his mind to wander and explore freely. The environment he created wasn't about order or appearance. It was about inspiration and focus. Virginia Woolf, the celebrated author, also understood the importance of having a space dedicated to creative work. She famously wrote about the need for a room of one's own, a place where she could be alone with her thoughts and ideas. Woolf's writing room was her personal retreat, filled with books, a writing desk, and the comforting quiet that allowed her mind to flow. For her, this room symbolized independence and freedom, essential for her creative process. Her space wasn't lavish, but it was sacred, a place that respected her need for focus and reflection. Both Einstein and Wolf show us how powerful a learning environment can be. It's not just about having a desk and a chair. It's about crafting a space that nurtures our minds and invites us to think deeply. Our surroundings influence how we feel and how well we can concentrate. A well-designed space can be a source of motivation, sparking curiosity and inspiring us to learn. But how do we create an environment that fuels our learning and growth? One of the simplest ways to build a learning-friendly environment is by minimizing distractions. Einstein, Wolf, and other great minds all understood the value of an uncluttered space that allowed their thoughts to roam freely. For us, this could mean setting up a dedicated corner or room for learning, where only the essentials are within reach. Keep books, notebooks, or tools relevant to your goals nearby, and remove anything that might draw your attention away from the task. For example, keeping a phone out of arm's reach can significantly reduce interruptions, creating a focused zone where your mind is free to explore. Lighting also plays a crucial role in creating an inspiring environment. Natural light has been shown to boost mood, increase focus, and improve overall well-being. Wolf's writing room, for instance, was filled with light, which she felt brought life into her writing. If you have a window in your workspace, set up your desk nearby to benefit from the natural light. If not, use warm, adjustable lighting that feels comfortable for your eyes. Proper lighting not only reduces strain, but also signals to your mind that this is a space for work and growth. The use of colors can also shape our mindset. Studies suggest that blue can boost focus, green promotes calm and creativity, and yellow inspires optimism and energy. Consider adding small touches of color through artwork, plants, or even the color of your desk accessories. In Wolf's case, she surrounded herself with elements that made her feel at ease and inspired, helping her creative thoughts to flow. Finding colors that resonate with you can subtly set the tone for your learning experience, making the environment feel welcoming and motivating. Another key element of an inspiring learning space is personalization. Einstein's study was filled with books and notes that reflected his interests and passions. Adding items that resonate with your goals, like a favorite book, inspiring quotes, or photos of people who motivate you, can make the space feel uniquely yours. For example, you might place a small object that represents your current goal, like a language dictionary if you're learning a new language, or a scientific model if you're exploring a field of study. These items serve as reminders of what you're working towards, helping you stay connected to your purpose. Including plants in your learning environment can also have a surprising effect on focus and relaxation. A small plant on your desk can bring a touch of nature indoors, creating a calming atmosphere that boosts concentration. Research shows that plants improve air quality and reduce stress, making them valuable additions to any workspace. Whether it's a succulent, a fern, or a small tree, plants add a sense of vitality, helping you feel more grounded and engaged in your work. In my own experience, creating a learning space involved a few simple but meaningful adjustments. I started with a quiet corner of my home, adding a comfortable chair, a small shelf for my books, and a whiteboard for jotting down ideas. Over time, I noticed that this space became my retreat for focused thinking. It was more than a desk. It was a place where my mind knew it could focus, reflect, and explore. Just as Wolf found solace in her room and Einstein thrived in his study, I realized that a personal, dedicated space can make learning feel intentional and exciting. To build your own inspiring environment, start small. Choose a spot that feels right, add items that reflect your goals, and remove anything that detracts from focus. Experiment with lighting, colors, and even sounds. Some people find that background music or white noise helps them concentrate, while others need complete silence. Pay attention to what works best for you, and don't be afraid to adapt the space as your needs evolve. Ultimately, a learning environment isn't about perfection. It's about creating a place that makes you want to return day after day. It's about setting up a corner of the world where you feel motivated to think deeply, to challenge yourself, and to grow. Just as Einstein and Wolf found inspiration in their surroundings, you too can build a space that fosters your journey of learning and discovery. Chapter 11. Embracing Curiosity Through Everyday Encounters. It's said that one of the greatest scientific discoveries began with a simple question. Why does the apple fall from the tree? When Isaac Newton watched that famous apple drop, his curiosity was sparked, leading him to question the nature of gravity itself. This small moment, a mere observation, launched a line of inquiry that would change how we understand the universe. Newton's curiosity wasn't just about finding answers. It was about asking questions that few had ever considered. His story shows us that curiosity, even in the most ordinary moments, has the power to lead us toward extraordinary discoveries. Curiosity is like a spark. It doesn't need grand events to ignite. It just needs a question, a moment of wonder. By nurturing curiosity in our everyday lives, we open ourselves to new ideas, knowledge, and insights. Small questions, the ones we sometimes ignore, often lead to fascinating paths of discovery. When we cultivate a curious mindset, each day becomes an opportunity to learn something new, to explore ideas, and to find meaning in the ordinary. Consider Richard Feynman, the Nobel-winning physicist known for his curiosity and playful approach to learning. As a child, Feynman would take apart radios to understand how they worked, not because he had to, but because he wanted to know. His fascination with the inner workings of the world stayed with him into adulthood, where he approached every scientific problem with a sense of curiosity. Feynman's life reminds us that curiosity is a habit, a way of engaging with the world. By staying curious, he continued to innovate and make discoveries, driven by a desire to understand things at their core. To make curiosity a habit in our lives, we can start by asking small, everyday questions. Questions like, why does my coffee taste different today? Or how does my phone actually connect to the internet? May seem trivial, but each question is an invitation to learn. By nurturing curiosity in small ways, we build a habit of inquiry that keeps our minds engaged and open. One exercise to encourage this is to keep a curiosity journal, a place to jot down questions and observations throughout the day. Every question is a potential avenue for discovery, even if we don't immediately find an answer. Another way to embrace curiosity is by exploring familiar places with a fresh perspective. Imagine going on a walk in your neighborhood, but this time, look around with an eye for details you may have overlooked. Notice the shape of the trees, the color of the flowers, or the design of a nearby building. Ask yourself questions about what you see. Why are those trees planted in a particular spot? What kind of bird is singing that song? Who designed that building? Each question helps you see the world anew, turning a routine walk into an adventure of exploration. Learning from the people around us is another powerful way to engage curiosity. Think of how much knowledge and experience exists within each person's life. When we take the time to ask others about their interests, their work, or their stories, we gain new insights. A friend of mine once struck up a conversation with a chef, asking him about his approach to cooking. What started as casual conversation turned into a mini lesson on spices and flavors, deepening her appreciation for the culinary arts. Small encounters like these remind us that curiosity isn't just about learning facts. It's about connecting with people and understanding their unique perspectives. One of the most effective ways to make curiosity a daily habit is to allow ourselves to follow rabbit holes. Think of the last time you looked up one thing online and ended up reading about something entirely different. Following a thread of curiosity is like a mental adventure, where one question leads to another. When we give ourselves permission to wander intellectually, we open up space for exploration. For instance, you might start by researching the history of a city and end up discovering fascinating facts about an ancient civilization. Embracing these detours can reveal unexpected knowledge and insights that fuel our sense of wonder. Personal stories of curiosity can also inspire us to keep exploring. I remember being captivated by the stars as a child, wondering why they seemed to twinkle and what lay beyond them. That curiosity led me to learn about astronomy and to spend countless nights gazing up at the sky. Although I never became an astronomer, that early sense of curiosity taught me the joy of discovery and the power of questions. Even as adults, these small moments of wonder remind us that there's always more to learn, to see, and to understand. Embracing curiosity in our daily lives is not just about seeking answers. It's about inviting questions and letting them enrich our minds. It's about approaching life with a sense of openness, allowing each day to reveal new insights and perspectives. In a world where we often focus on productivity and results, curiosity offers us a chance to slow down, to explore for the sake of learning, and to see the beauty in the journey itself. As you go through your day, try to cultivate a curious mind. Ask small questions, observe with intention, engage with others' stories, and let yourself follow the occasional rabbit hole. Each moment, each encounter, and each observation is an opportunity to learn something new. Curiosity, as Newton, Feynman, and countless others have shown us, is the gateway to discovery. And in that simple act of wondering, we begin to see the world as a place filled with endless possibilities and boundless knowledge, just waiting for those willing to look a little closer. Chapter 12: Decision-Making Through the Lens of Great Thinkers. In 1990, Nelson Mandela faced a critical decision that would change the course of history. Released after 27 years in prison, he had a choice: seek revenge against those who had oppressed him or pursue a path of reconciliation. Despite the years of hardship and suffering he endured, Mandela chose peace. His decision to forgive and work towards unity in South Africa showed profound intelligence, grounded in empathy and a deep understanding of what his country needed. Mandela's choice wasn't just a moment of compassion. It was a deliberate, intelligent decision rooted in his vision for a better future. Similarly, when Malala Yousafzai, the young Pakistani activist, decided to speak out for girls' education despite threats from the Taliban, she made a decision that was both courageous and wise. She understood the risks, but her commitment to her cause and the principles she believed in drove her to act. Malala's choice to stand up for education, even in the face of violence, reflects a rare blend of bravery and foresight, showing us that intelligent decision-making often involves balancing personal sacrifice with a larger purpose. These stories illustrate that great thinkers and leaders don't just make decisions. They weigh them with careful thought, empathy, and a focus on the bigger picture. Their choices reveal the psychology of decision-making, showing us how factors like values, emotions, and long-term vision influence the decisions we make. By examining their approaches, we can learn to make our own decisions with greater wisdom and clarity. One of the key elements in intelligent decision-making is understanding your values. Mandela's decision for reconciliation wasn't just about strategy. It reflected his deep commitment to peace and equality. Knowing what you value, whether it's justice, compassion, or integrity, provides a foundation that guides your choices. When faced with a difficult decision, ask yourself what you stand for. What do you want to contribute to the world? Understanding your core values creates a framework for decision-making, helping you choose the path that aligns with your deeper purpose. Another powerful tool in decision-making is emotional intelligence. Malala's decision to speak out was not impulsive. It was an intentional choice shaped by her understanding of her emotions and fears. She knew the risks but didn't let fear dictate her actions. Emotional intelligence, recognizing, understanding, and managing our emotions, enables us to make choices that aren't driven solely by impulse. For example, if you're facing a tough decision at work, take a moment to reflect on your feelings. Are you driven by fear, excitement, or frustration? By understanding these emotions, you can make a decision that is thoughtful rather than reactive. Another important aspect of decision-making is perspective-taking. Great thinkers often consider the viewpoints of others before deciding. When Mandela chose to pursue reconciliation, he did so with the perspective of uniting a divided nation. By understanding the fears, hopes, and desires of different groups, he crafted a solution that resonated across divides. In our own lives, whether it's a family matter or a workplace challenge, perspective-taking allows us to step into others' shoes, broadening our understanding and helping us make more empathetic, inclusive decisions. The psychology of decision-making also involves assessing long-term consequences. Many decisions, especially those in high-stakes situations, require us to think beyond immediate rewards or setbacks. For example, Steve Jobs famously took a risk in designing products with simplicity and beauty at their core, even when it wasn't the industry norm. He understood that a focus on design would build Apple's reputation over time. In our own lives, we can apply this by asking ourselves, how will this decision impact me a year from now? 5 years from now? Shifting focus from short-term gains to long-term outcomes helps us make decisions with enduring value. Let's also consider the role of intuition, a valuable yet often overlooked aspect of decision-making. Many of the world's greatest thinkers, from Einstein to Oprah Winfrey, have spoken about the importance of trusting their gut. Intuition doesn't replace logic, but it complements it, providing insights that might not be immediately apparent. Sometimes, when logic reaches its limits, our instincts can guide us in the right direction. If you're feeling torn, take a step back, clear your mind, and listen to what your intuition is telling you. Often, our subconscious mind picks up patterns that our conscious mind hasn't yet recognized. Finally, the art of decision-making involves accepting that no decision will ever be perfect. Mandela's path to peace wasn't without challenges, and Malala's bravery came at great personal risk. Yet they moved forward, knowing that progress is often made through imperfect choices. In our own lives, we can embrace this by recognizing that every decision has its trade-offs. Rather than aiming for perfection, focus on making the best choice with the information you have. Accepting that imperfection is part of the process allows us to move forward with confidence, even when the path isn't entirely clear. By drawing from the stories of leaders and thinkers like Mandela and Malala, we see that intelligent decision-making is a blend of self-awareness, empathy, foresight, and courage. It's about understanding our values, managing our emotions, and considering the bigger picture. And ultimately, it's about making choices that align with who we are and what we want to contribute to the world. The next time you're faced with a decision, big or small, consider these techniques. Reflect on your values, understand your emotions, consider other perspectives, and think about the long-term impact. Trust your intuition, but also be willing to accept that there's no perfect answer. Through these practices, we can all make decisions that are a little wiser, a little braver, and ultimately more meaningful, helping us live with purpose and integrity. Chapter 13. The Gift of Knowledge Sharing. When Maya Angelou was in her 20s, she met James Baldwin, an established writer and activist who became her mentor and friend. Baldwin shared his insights, his stories, and his support, helping Angelou to embrace her own voice as a writer and activist. This mentorship wasn't just about advice. It was a transfer of knowledge, wisdom, and courage. Baldwin's impact on Angelou illustrates how sharing knowledge can empower, inspire, and shape the lives of others. Mentorships like these remind us that knowledge isn't meant to be kept in isolation. It grows and multiplies when shared. Knowledge sharing is more than just passing on information. It's a way to deepen our own understanding, connect with others, and contribute to a larger purpose. Teaching what we learn reinforces our own knowledge, pushing us to clarify our thoughts, organize our ideas, and articulate them in ways that others can understand. When we share what we know, we often uncover gaps in our understanding, encouraging us to learn even more. This process of teaching, learning, and relearning creates a cycle of growth, enriching both the teacher and the learner. Consider the story of Richard Feynman, the brilliant physicist known for his ability to explain complex concepts with remarkable simplicity. Feynman had a technique for understanding any subject deeply. He would try to teach it as if explaining to a young child. By simplifying the concept into everyday language, he was able to clarify his own understanding and identify areas that needed further exploration. This method, known as the Feynman technique, shows that teaching isn't just a gift to others. It's a gift to ourselves, helping us master ideas at their core. We can apply this approach in our own lives by sharing what we learn with those around us. Whether it's explaining a concept to a friend, writing a blog post, or giving a short presentation, each act of teaching reinforces our own knowledge. This habit of sharing doesn't have to be formal. Even a casual conversation can deepen our understanding. For example, if you've just read a fascinating book, try explaining the main ideas to someone. In the process, you'll find yourself thinking more critically, recalling specific details, and clarifying the message, all of which solidify your understanding. Knowledge sharing also builds community, creating connections that foster collective intelligence. In workplaces, schools, or social groups, the sharing of ideas creates an environment of collaboration and mutual growth. A team where members share insights and skills with one another is not only stronger, but also more resilient. When individuals share what they know, they empower each other, creating a culture where everyone feels valued and inspired to contribute. One example of this is the open-source software movement, where developers around the world freely share their code, allowing others to learn from, improve, and build upon it. This spirit of collaboration has led to some of the most innovative software available today, including operating systems, applications, and tools used by millions. The knowledge shared through open-source projects is a powerful reminder that collective intelligence can drive innovation, solve complex problems, and make knowledge accessible to everyone. Sharing knowledge doesn't always have to be on a large scale. Even small acts of mentorship can have a profound impact. Imagine teaching a colleague a skill you've recently learned, or showing a friend how to approach a particular problem. These small gestures create ripples, empowering others to grow and succeed. When we share knowledge, we're not just passing on information. We're helping others build confidence, curiosity, and competence. In my own life, I've found that sharing knowledge brings unexpected rewards. I once started a book club with friends, hoping to discuss ideas and perspectives from various books. As we shared our insights and interpretations, I realized that each person's understanding added a new layer to my own. Books I thought I knew well became even richer through our discussions. This experience taught me that knowledge isn't just something we accumulate, it's something we build together, each contribution enhancing the whole. The act of sharing knowledge also fosters empathy and humility. When we teach, we're reminded that everyone starts as a beginner. This perspective helps us stay grounded, patient, and open to learning from others, no matter their background or level of expertise. In turn, this humility strengthens our intelligence, making us more receptive to new ideas and alternative viewpoints. To make knowledge sharing a habit, look for opportunities in everyday life. If you're passionate about a topic, consider giving a short talk, writing about it, or joining a group where you can discuss it with others. Offer your insights freely, and be open to learning from those who share theirs. The more we share, the more we learn, creating a ripple effect that extends beyond ourselves. As we embrace the gift of knowledge sharing, we become part of something larger, a community of lifelong learners, each contributing to the growth of others. Like Baldwin mentoring Angelou or Feynman explaining physics to students, we have the power to inspire, guide, and elevate those around us. Knowledge is one of the greatest gifts we can give, and in sharing it, we not only enrich others but also deepen our own understanding, building a more connected, intelligent, and compassionate world. Conclusion: the story of a lifelong learner. Albert Einstein once said, "Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death." His life was a testament to this philosophy. From a young age, Einstein was curious about the world around him, constantly asking questions, exploring ideas, and pursuing knowledge in diverse fields. Even after developing the theories that would reshape physics, he never stopped learning. He continued to explore philosophy, music, and even politics, always hungry for new insights and perspectives. Einstein's legacy is not just in the discoveries he made, but in his dedication to a life of continuous learning. He shows us that intelligence is not a destination, but a journey, one that shapes us as much as we shape it. As we reflect on this journey of lifelong learning, we realize that intelligence is more than facts, skills, or achievements. It's a mindset, a way of seeing the world as an endless source of knowledge and wonder. The chapters in this book have shown us that intelligence is cultivated not only through academic study, but through curiosity, resilience, empathy, creativity, and the willingness to grow. Each story of great thinkers, each technique for building focus, memory, and creativity, and each insight into real-world applications of intelligence reminds us that learning is an ongoing process. Lifelong learning is about becoming, about evolving into a person who sees knowledge as a gift and growth as a purpose. Each question we ask, each idea we explore, each challenge we embrace brings us closer to our true potential. By setting meaningful goals, cultivating curiosity, and sharing what we learn, we not only expand our own minds but enrich the lives of others. In doing so, we create a legacy of growth, one that reaches beyond us, inspiring others to embark on their own journeys of discovery. So, as we reach the end of this book, remember that this is only the beginning. The path of intelligence and learning stretches on, filled with opportunities to explore, to question, to imagine. Wherever you are on this journey, take the next step with curiosity and courage. Embrace each experience as a lesson, each obstacle as a teacher, and each discovery as a chance to see the world, and yourself, in a new light. Keep learning. Keep exploring. Continue unlocking new levels of intelligence, not just for the sake of knowledge, but for the joy of growth, the power of connection, and the journey of becoming the best version of yourself.